Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Smackdown review of us, the British Fist. Mr. Parkin here with another V-neck t-shirt, as I usually do, and this guy sitting next to me, waving his hand like he's got a candle on a song. It's none other than NJ himself.
What's up?
Subscribe above, like this video, comment any thoughts you have on Smackdown, also down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the box below.
Do you know what? When they announced that it was going to be 6 weeks building to Hell in a Cell, I knew there'd be some filler. Kind of like with between TLC and Royal Rumble, there's usually a lot of filler, but I never really thought the product would be this boring and stale with 6 weeks going to Hell in a Cell. I really didn't. Kind of expected it, did you? Okay, that nod indicates to me that we should just move on with the review. We opened up the show with none of them Big Show, the #1 contender, talking about Sheamus joking around and how everyone has a plan until they get knocked out by his massive fists that are this big.
And when Big Show was just turning to a heel, I thought his promos were kind of boring. But now, like, especially the video package he showed and this promo, I thought it was pretty good. I did enjoy having Big Show on mic here, even though then obviously the Sheamus sport a bit, but I really enjoyed Big Show's mic time here.
Well, logically, you had Sheamus coming out to confront Big Show. He says that even though he's been joking around a lot, he knows that Big Show will be in the biggest fight of his life, but he pretty much makes fun of Big Show, and then Show goes to shake his hand, and then Sheamus refuses, because before Big Show refused to shake, you know, Sheamus's hand. It's just like, okay.
I really thought this was stupid. Like, Big Show should not want to shake Sheamus' hand, anything at all. And the fact that he came back round to Big Show trying to shake Sheamus' hand, I thought it was pretty stupid. But what I'll say is, this feud, okay, it's what I wanted to see. But in a way, they're trying to like rush things, especially the commentary, trying to make this feud or match look really important.
I mean, it is something very rarely in the WWE now. It is a first-time match, and you'd think that WWE would want to put some real build and effort behind it. And kind of, so far, they started it with that debate, and now they started it with this. And it's kind of like they're booking Sheamus to like embarrass Big Show, and it's like you should be seeing him as a legit threat, and you should be booking Big Show as this monster heel that could knock a guy out whenever. I mean, it's stupid.
At the moment, I'm enjoying Big Show's part in this more than Sheamus, because Sheamus is trying to be the comedy, everyone laugh at me and stuff, while Big Show's trying to make Big Show look like a threat, but we have to see how the match turns out.
And they wonder why people won't get behind Sheamus, because right now I'm more behind Big Show than Sheamus, in honesty, even though I know Sheamus is going to win. I'm more behind Big Show, because at least he makes more logical points, rather than Sheamus who just jokes around. Jesus Christ. So after the opener, we had Truth Boom versus Primetime Players in a tag team tournament quarter-final match. These guys have faced off a lot now, haven't they? We've seen it, what, 4 or 5 times over the last couple of months now?
The thing about this is that it's been replayed a few times and it's a match we skipped, but the way they finished it, I will give them credit. It made the heels do their heel tactic, and instead of the strong ex-tag team champs get the win here, they lost, giving the Primetime Players, who have lost many chances to win the belt, a win here.
Yeah, and Primetime Players essentially get the victory, and rightfully so. And I find it interesting as well how I've heard that WWE apparently wants to do a Primetime Players versus Rey and Sin Cara feud as like a secondary tag team feud, maybe for the #1 contendership for the future. And I think that's nice how Triple H has brought tag team wrestling in with this tag team tournament. It now seems we might have 2 tag team feuds, even though we didn't see it on this show, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
The thing I want to quickly say about this is that as I'm all for Triple H doing this, Rey, Sin Cara, Kane and Daniel Bryan are temporary tag teams. So as long as they do keep bringing new ones in, permanent tag teams in, it's going to go well. But at the minute, when they break up eventually to face each other, you're going to be left with less tag teams again. You're
going to be left essentially with tag teams that really didn't matter because all the ones they put together mattered more. But at least now we're getting some kind of element of a tag team division. I'll take that for now. They had Ryder and Santino beat Gabriel and Kidd on the main event show on Wednesday. I don't know why they had that tournament match on a main event show when they could have probably just had it on a TV show.
The thing is, with these 2 tag teams, they're not as big as the other ones are. So putting this, yes, it is a tournament-worthy match, but it's a tag team that normally cares about, even though Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel are a pair, shall we say, that you want to see do better than they are.
They've just main evented NXT, and now they're losing to Ryder and Santino. Through to the semi-finals, but there we go. After this, we got Ryback versus Primo in a typical Ryback squash match. You would have thought that what was it now, 5-6 months since he debuted on Smackdown and squashed a local jobber. You'd have thought they'd probably be progressing him up the card a little bit more, really, right? But I understand they're trying to make him look strong and they're trying to give him a place on SmackDown. But once again, it's just like the same old squash match with Primo, really.
Two things I want to say about Ryback. Number one, you tease Ryback and The Miz and you just killed that. I'm going to keep saying that week after week because that could have been something good. Booker T was setting up a really good feud for Miz and a good one for Ryback, but they killed that. The second thing I want to say is for people who mention, especially on Raw, the negativity of Ryback, I thought it was pretty ridiculous because every wrestler is going to botch sometime in their career. The fact that Ryback took the risk of lifting up Tensai and it went wrong doesn't mean you have to hate him, say, oh, that was sucky and all that. I really thought that was pretty bad for people to hit on Ryback just for that.
It's never good when guys can't do their finisher, but at the same time, guys do make mistakes. And let's face it, Tensai was sandbagging as well. They couldn't. That's why you couldn't lift him up. But either way, the botch made Ryback look very silly, and I think that is the reason why people are kind of jumping off the Ryback bandwagon. I know he's gonna make botches, and he was lifting a 350-pound man, but I'm not looking at that too much.
No, I was expecting probably a botch, or it'd be a bit difficult for him to do it. So I'm looking past it and continue looking for Ryback's push.
Yeah, it's just, but he did it on SmackDown the last week and then he couldn't on Raw, and I guess that's what threw people off a little bit. I don't know. After this, we had Layla versus Alicia Fox, a typical Divas match that we really didn't care too much about. Layla gets the victory, but at least we had a nice little touch to the segment when Matt Striker comes out and interviews her about Eve Torres and going after the title. Yes, her mic work was a little bit shaky, but it was still nice to at least have someone go out there and interview who was going to be the number one contender.
The thing about that, though, is that I do like the fact Matt Striker did that, but number one, Matt Striker said, congratulations on your win, like it's a big deal that you beat Alicia Fox. Why didn't you have done this backstage, like a separate thing instead of having this?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it did tease more for Layla to have a say about Eve continuing the feud, so I give credit for that.
Wade Barrett faced a local jobber this week. Do you know what, NJ? It seems to me, and we skipped this match because WWE gave us no reason to care about one of our favourite wrestlers, and that is a real shame. The thing that gets me is that it seems like WWE brought back Barrett and then all of a sudden had no plans for him. Why bother bringing a guy like that if you don't have a long-term plan?
Well, he has teased going for the World Heavyweight, but he did this little promo in this boxy thing that Smackdown do. And the thing he mentions is that he's had all these people, he's taken so many out, and then he goes against a local wrestler. The WWE and all this local wrestler stuff is really stupid because you've got a bigger roster than you're not using really that he could have faced. Why not put him against someone else that's in the WWE? And I just hope that they do have a more directional for Wade Barrett. They're just not showing us it yet.
I understand the concept of a jobber match, that's all fine and good, but you've made Barrett look like crap so far. So even this, what was quite a strong win against the local jobber in about 2 minutes, just didn't feel very important. And sorry, it's just the way they've packaged him and showcased him and presented him to us, and it really is a shame. We had Sheamus versus The Miz next in a champion versus champion match. I would have thought, because they had that Miz TV segment last week where Sheamus and Miz had that little face-off, and like, Sheamus took out Miz and Dolph Ziggler both of the time. So was I really going to believe that Miz and Sheamus was really going to, was I really ever going to believe that Miz was going to beat Sheamus? Plus, not to mention the fact that why wasn't this announced ahead of time rather than just randomly in the middle of the show?
I do agree that this match should have happened. I do say that because it does follow on from something that's happened in the previous week.
It's logical.
Yes, and this match, I did like it because you have Miz actually on the show. Yes, it weren't teasing a possible feud, which I'm still waiting to happen. But this was quite a strong match for these two.
Yeah, it went about 6.5 minutes. It was a pretty strong match. You had Sheamus about to go for the bro kick, and then Big Show comes out and knocks out Miz. It's like, okay. I do wonder, though. I mean, they're highlighting the Big Show-Sheamus feud, fair enough. Two things here, though. What's Miz going to be doing? He's the IC champion. And secondly, why not have Big Show come in and knock Sheamus out and give Miz the victory, a much-needed victory? And you know why? It's because they want to protect Sheamus.
The way I'm looking at this, if we go back to The Miz, is that most of his possible opponents are now in a tag team. So there is just like, it's going to be a filler match, or just something that is not really worthy of the Intercontinental title match. But it's going to happen sooner or later. Miz is going to have an opponent. It just depends who. And this yeah, they're really trying to do, as you see in the next match that we're going to talk about, they're really trying to make this feud get a kickoff start before Hell in a Cell.
I mean, they had Big Show interfering in Sheamus' match. Then you have Big Show versus Tensai later on in the night when Sheamus comes in. And not to mention the fact that Big Show and Tensai are both heels, but I'll look past that in this segment, really. Out comes Sheamus to bro kick Tensai, and I guess that they're trying to make them not touch, but it comes across to me as the fact that they're overprotecting Sheamus a lot because they can't ever have Sheamus, like, get knocked out by Big Show when he's supposed to be put as a monster heel.
There is many times in this SmackDown I thought Big Show should have just knocked him out and then just left the ring, but we didn't get that. And this when I saw this match, I was really thinking, I really miss Mark Henry.
Yeah, I miss Mark Henry as well, NJ. Remember last year when SmackDown was good and we had Mark Henry as the champion and Randy Orton in a feud and Sheamus in a feud, and SmackDown was so much better back then. Mark Henry needs to come back to TV soon, and he'd have a good feud with Sheamus, I think.
He needs to come back.
We had a little highlight for me in this show was they had a video package of Del Rio attacking Orton, after last week's show. Now, what I don't get is if you want to get a good amount of heel heat onto Del Rio and highlight this feud with him and Orton, why didn't this get shown on the actual TV show? Why was this a WWE.com exclusive? Surely Del Rio attacking Orton and probably having a feud with him in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever is something you'd want to showcase in the main event of the SmackDown TV show. I don't get why that was WWE.com exclusive.
And there are some exclusives that I do agree, like when Triple H comes out and pedigree and so on, but this had meaning, it had storyline, build, and this should have been a little touch on SmackDown, because one, it didn't take long just to add on. Number two, it was a progression from Del Rio and Orton, but I guess the WWE didn't want to see Orton get attacked live, but we still got to see it anyway.
I guess they're trying to protect him for his movie that he's going to be filming soon, which is probably why he wasn't on this week's edition of SmackDown. We have David Otunga in the ring addressing Del Rio's attack after the show on Orton, saying, "Oh, and that attack, I'm very glad that Del Rio attacked Orton because Orton's a piece of shit." And then we had this quite funny sequence where Orton's music goes off and then Del Rio comes out entering like Orton with the serious face and says, "My name is Randy Orton," in like his voice, and he is the new Apex Predator. I must admit, for the first time in quite some time, Del Rio in a promo actually entertained me, and he did it by mimicking one of the most boring guys on the mic we see in the company today.
That's the thing, because with this was entertaining to see. It was a heel maneuver to do, and I really enjoyed this. Del Rio teasing a possible match at Hell in a Cell with Orton, and I just say that the way the WWE are doing this, yes, it's not going to lead long term for Del Rio, because after his feud with Orton, Del Rio's probably going to disappear again, or just be a heel main eventer. We don't know what's going to happen to him. But for now, I enjoyed this.
At least it's getting Orton in a non-title feud with a guy who could use maybe a rub-off a feud with Randy Orton. You have Booker T coming out saying, well, Orton's not on the show, and Del Rio, you have some space free on your timetable. I'm going to put you and Otunga against Kane and Daniel Bryan, eh? And this led into the match, and I think this highlighted one good thing about the Daniel Bryan and Kane tag team. Yes, they're a bit of an odd couple tag team, but they can work as either faces or heels, so you can put them against pretty much any team, and Del Rio and Otunga was no exception. They worked as the baby faces here. Daniel Bryan tags himself in and gets the pin on Otunga, the right guy to get the pin on, and you've kind of furthered on the Del Rio and Orton storyline with the promo segment, and then made your tag champs look quite strong in this segment.
I do agree that even though the WWE are using Daniel Bryan and Kane as much as they can to build up possibly the tournament and also their later match against each other, I don't really like Otunga, and I'm just thinking him doing all this siding with Del Rio. Otunga's not helping Del Rio, so this was just absolutely stupid.
Well, Del Rio did walk out, so it's like, oh, you mean nothing to me, bitch. I'm the Apex Predator. I bury people for a living. So apparently, I saw on just before we watched SmackDown today, we saw the news that apparently Vince McMahon is going to be making a State of WWE address on Raw. I think this is to do with the low ratings, but I do wonder, with that 2.5 rating happening last week, what Vince McMahon is actually going to do, because WWE, in my opinion, are in a massive rut right now, and something really needs to spark, and they need to try and address some of these long-term issues they have in their product.
And they've been teasing this for a while, that AJ is slipping up in many ways, so my prediction straight away is that he's going to have words with AJ, say that it was the wrong decision hiring you, something along those lines, to get rid of AJ and build up a whole new temporary storyline to give us a better GM.
It'd be so typical of WWE, wouldn't it? They hire AJ, Vince McMahon is, yeah, we're definitely hiring AJ, and then a couple of months later, nah, I don't want AJ anymore. It'd be so typical of like a continuance in the WWE's booking and logic, but there we go. So the main event tonight that was teased earlier on because Punk had walked out of one of Ziggler's tag matches, and Ziggler had walked out of one of Punk's tag matches. So we got Ziggler versus Punk as our main event of the evening. You know, not to mention the fact that Punk is a Raw guy main eventing SmackDown, but they had a reason to face off, but did this really continue any storylines? They're both heels, so who's the fans supposed to cheer for? What the fuck?
The only thing I'm going to say about this match, in defence for it, it's not proper strong defence due to leading up to Hell in a Cell, but now Ziggler is going to get another top guy. Yes, they're two heels, but Ziggler, this is what I was hoping to see this probably at a pay-per-view if Ziggler was a face, because it would have been better, because this match was pretty good. But I just think it just gives Ziggler another main eventer.
But to be honest with you, you could say that, but he's faced Sheamus many times now, who is a main eventer, and he's lost every time. And what happened here when he faced CM Punk? He lost. So really, in my opinion, a quite pointless SmackDown main event in the grand scheme of things, because yes, it may have got Ziggler in a main event. We've seen him face Orton and Sheamus in main events, and it really hasn't done that much for him. And Punk gets the victory, didn't really further any storylines. Not really sure why this was main eventing a SmackDown show, really.
And I really don't think that, even though they're the heel managers, that Old Lady and Worm did anything for this match.
They didn't do anything, did they? But no. I guess Heyman holds up the WWE title, that counts. Nah, it doesn't really count. Really. So after Punk wins, we get Punk on the mic afterwards saying that he's not going to be stepping in the ring with Cena at Hell in a Cell, basically telling us what we already know, and this kind of shows you that without John Cena, they don't really know what to do with Punk, really, do they?
The thing I'm going to question about this whole Punk saying, I'm not stepping in the ring, AJ's the GM, she could have just made this match, end of. So this whole, I'm not stepping in the ring, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, okay, whatever. And he did say, I'm going to do something you all want me to do, which is step in Hell in a Cell with Cena. No, I do not want to see that, but it's going to happen.
Presuming it does happen, which it will, because they're going to try and rush Cena back from injury, because let's face it, they can't survive without John Cena, and this will be the 5th time they've been in a match on a pay-per-view since Money in the Bank 2011. Now that is about, 14, 15 months? This is slowly becoming the new Cena versus Orton, isn't it? It's like these guys have faced off so many times now. What new stuff can they do? And it's got to the point where, like you said, it's just, do you really want to see these two go at it anymore? Yeah, they had a great match at Night of Champions, but how can they better that now? They faced off. This will be the 5th time in about a year they faced off.
I really don't see this really changing that often. Yes, I would love to see Wade Barrett up in this picture, but that's not happening. Someone else needs to step up, because I'm with Punk. I wouldn't want to step in the ring with Cena.
No, and it really does show you without John Cena and the way the product is, the way some of these long-term problems are really catching up with WWE, the real flaws in the way they do business right now. I'll just say that. What's your opinions on this edition of SmackDown then? I didn't really care too much.
There were some matches that I thought were pretty good. I'd give that. Continue the tag team tournament. We got continue the Divas thing. We got Sheamus and Miz, which was a good match. The main event was a good match, but the rest of it and the Sheamus and Big Show thing I didn't really care about, even though I do look forward to seeing Big Show and Sheamus, but it didn't feel like a very entertaining SmackDown.
I think it's really, really obvious now that WWE is in a real rut. I mean, when we watched this SmackDown, NJ, how much of this SmackDown did we skip?
Apart from the matches that I named, we skipped the rest. Yeah.
Pretty much, and there's a reason why we skipped it, because we don't care about it, and WWE haven't made us care about it, and the product is very stale right now, and it's just a shame, because this happened a couple of months ago. The product was really stale, and we thought it may improve, and now it's all of a sudden just gone back to its old self. It seems like 6 weeks between a filler pay-per-view and another filler pay-per-view is kind of hurting WWE a lot, not to mention they're going 3 hours. John Cena's got injured, Monday Night Football. Not a lot is going for WWE right now, and I think the only person to blame is Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, the guy who's going to be doing the Adjustment Raw himself, to putting out such a shitty product, and pretty much getting behind Linda McMahon's Senate campaign and letting that ruin his business mind. That's all I can say.
All I'm going to say is that I'm looking forward to seeing what Vince has to say, because he is going to address the bad ratings. But as for this SmackDown, I really think it needs to switch up somehow, and Barrett needs the push that he deserves. But for the next month or two, I don't see it happening.
The whole of WWE needs a push, really, to be honest. But there we go. There's something different, something exciting, because nothing exciting is happening on these shows right now. It's ridiculous. So give us your thoughts and comments on this week's edition of SmackDown down in that comment section. Yes, I know this went 20 minutes plus again, but we always have a lot to say about these shows. So NJ.
I'm quite surprised because with this SmackDown, especially SmackDown this show, I didn't think we'd be talking this long, but we did add some extra points in to just get us talking. So hopefully he has got us talking in the comments section below. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, tune in for our next video, and goodbye.